Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is a reaction to the first episode of America's Got Talent, Season 2. This is not exactly a banner start for America's Got Talent, the champions.
First episode, and I'm already upset about Junior Creative not going through. How did this happen?
Here's the funniest thing about it. They changed the rules for Season 2 because they knew people were mad about how many people were getting screwed over in Season 1. You guys still couldn't get it right. Congratulations. I don't even know what to say, but well, we got to figure it out. We have a lot of video to discuss.
We have lots to talk about, and there will be some anger in it. Junior Creative, come on. How did this happen?
I don't know, but
Howie, we're going to have words, you and me, Howie.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into. Before we go any further, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. I will start by saying this. I have been a Hans defender in the past because I think he is fun, I think he's campy, I think he's entertaining, but, and this is the important but I need to mention here, Hans is a great act for a regular season of America's Got Talent if he is maybe on the first or second live show. Maybe he makes it past one round because there are a lot of other people who are kind of just like mediocre or maybe are slightly better than him but aren't memorable at all. Everyone on this season is just so considerably better than Hans, as much as I find him ridiculous here or there, that it was a stretch on some level to even put Hans on this season.
I agree. I like Hans too. I think that he's wildly entertaining. He's just got a really good energy of someone that I would want to watch and I would want to be around.
Yeah.
But you put him up against Junior Creative, there's no competition, and I don't know how this happened.
I think
Junior Creative was just so beautiful. Their presentation, the storytelling, all of it. It was just, I was crying. It got me right in the heart. I loved them. I can't believe that this is the first episode. I'm not going to see them again. I am having a hard time wrapping my head around it. They are just incredible. And I'm sorry, Hans, but there just isn't a comparison with these two.
There's really not.
There isn't.
No, one is so much better. I will try my best to get into the headspaces of Heidi and Howie, who are the two people we blame for this debacle.
Yeah, they're on the naughty list this year with this choice.
Heidi picked Hans because Heidi is German and Hans is a part of his shtick. That is the only reason why Heidi picked Hans, I feel like.
I feel that Howie picked Hans to get under Simon's skin.
See, this is the thing. In Britain's Got Talent, when they do the golden buzzers, you pick somebody to go to the live shows. David Williams, who is probably my favorite reality TV judge of all time, he is my spirit animal, and I love it when he just picks bad acts to give the golden buzzer just to make Simon uncomfortable. But there's a difference between David Williams trolling Simon on a regular audition show and on Britain's Got Talent, the champions. This is like the cream of the crop.
I agree.
You're snubbing Junior Creative, who is coming from like halfway around the world to be here. They've gone through a lot over a guy who, yes, Hans clogs, he plays the accordion, he sings, but he's not particularly great at any of them.
No, he is still entertaining, but he is not at the same level as Junior Creative. Junior Creative is really something special, and this is not the time to play the let's get under Simon's skin game. This is the champions. And Junior Creative are champions to me. And I don't know why they're not here anymore.
I feel like there had to be a corner of Hans's mind that was like, really? You're picking me? Like, I mean, Hans, you're not going to say no if you're Hans, but
no,
still.
Of course not.
It's just still kind of surprising. And I mean, the funniest thing about all this is that, I mean, I feel like I'm giving, like, Jack Vidgen a little bit of, like, the snub here and talking about how great Junior Creative is.
But at the same time, I mean, Jack feels like somebody who is going to go forward and have a great career. Like, Simon's not wrong about that. He has a beautiful voice. his story is incredible, and I had always kind of wondered that about younger singers, and then their voices are changing, and then what happens. And it was really cool to have a story like that, and that he would share that story, because what he was saying, no, I don't even sing around the house anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, that's
tough.
That is heartbreaking to hear that, and it was really cool to have him come out and do this. And I do think that he's going to be more than successful. He doesn't need this show.
No, he doesn't need this show. I mean, I would say I would have picked, obviously, Junior Creative over him if I had the choice.
I would as well.
I would have also chosen Jack Viggen over Hans, though. That's sort of the thing.
I absolutely would have as well.
Is that I think Jack, he got the short end of the stick here as well for what I thought was a really good performance. And here we are, already some controversy. I mean, the only other thing I can think of with Howie, and this is not fair to Junior Creative at all, is that we have seen these sort of shadow puppet groups on these talent shows before.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that's sort of like a really good singer, and then you're going to be like, okay, yeah, you're not going to get to go on because we've had other good singers.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking as well, that maybe he was just like, oh, we've seen this before, but we've seen a million singers on the show. We saw a whole bunch of singers tonight, so, I mean, you can't give it to this one group who deserve to go through. Yeah,
I know. The only thing that I'll say on the good side of things is at least there was like some element of variety when it comes to the people who went through, because we had a singer, we had a magician, we had acrobats. Okay, well let's start with the golden buzzer, Angelina Jordan, because this is sort of like the big moment where a lot of us who are, American viewers, I would say like a tiny percentage of the people who watch AGT Champions are actually familiar with a lot of these international versions of the show. But man, she can sing.
I have never seen her before or heard of her before. We have watched an incredible amount of just singing shows and talent shows over the decade that we've been covering TV. Her voice is magic. It's so gorgeous. I can't even compare it to anybody. She is in her own lane doing something that I've never really heard before. Just beautiful. And you could see people in the audience tearing up and the emotions that were coming out. And I could feel it through my screen. She is magic.
She was so good that I'm not going to come on here and do like my typical shtick. Like, I have come on here and railed against young singers getting golden buzzers like a billion times. And it seems like Heidi, every time she's on the show, she gives it to a young singer. But it's just, I can't complain. There's no complaining about it here because, like, she is legitimately, like, that good. And it's not, to me, it's kind of like you said. It's her tone and her voice are incredible, but it's like the way that she can make people feel. Like, that to me is sort of like the thing that's actually going to have her find success, because there's a lot of good singers.
There are, but there are few that have their own voice that's very distinctly theirs, like Bjork. If you hear Bjork, you know that it is Bjork. That is a voice that is beautiful and soft and very distinctly her. And Angelina has that. And that's a really special, I don't know any other word to use, a little bit of magic in a bottle that you just don't see. Especially watching so many singing shows and talent shows. You say, oh, here's another singer. Oh, no, she's not just another singer.
No, she's legitimately really good. She's a contender. It all depends, of course, on what she picks in the next round, but I think she's got a pretty reasonable shot of moving on. The other act that kind of got the first little nod here in the results before we get to the great debacle at the end was Duo Trinson, who I've always really liked them. I think they have a great relationship. I like to watch people who could do things that I look at for a second and just be like, nope, can't do that. And that's exactly what they are.
Yes, they are.
They're athletic, they're acrobatic. I think they're really, really compelling to watch. These acts never win this show, unfortunately.
No, but it's great that there is a show that can actually give them a chance to have a platform. Like sideshow acts that we've seen on here that have come on in swallowed swords and stuff like that. I love those danger acts, and you never get to see them anywhere except on this show. It is the only place.
I always feel like the best hope for acts like this is sort of they get to do this, and then maybe they get to be invited into some sort of like big Vegas sort of circus ensemble, or but you get to have a really established career after that, and I think that's probably what anyone like Duo Transcend is really hoping for, and I'm thrilled that they have the platform again. I am also thrilled for Dania Diaz, who, there's not, there aren't a lot of female magicians that kind of exist within the Got Talent world. That's kind of rare.
Or just kind of in the world. There's not a lot. I mean, if you ask somebody to name off, like, 5 magicians, you're not going to be pulling up women's names. And that is a shame, especially when you see someone like her who is... She was so great. I loved her story. I loved the way she did that. She was able... It was a very smart move to be able to show what she can do and also let us get to know you at the same time. I was so happy she went through.
Yeah, I was really, really happy she went through. I think the way that she was able to combine meaning and magic together. One of my favorite Got Talent acts is X from Britain's Got Talent, and I'm sure a lot of you who are Britain's Got Talent fans, you know X, and this gave me kind of the same sort of chills where, you were getting a story, you were getting the tricks, but it didn't feel like the magic was shortchanged for the story.
No, it wasn't.
No, and I mean, it just was like, what after the next, so very, very happy for Dania.
Yeah.
She gets to move on.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what she's going to do next.
And I think, maybe she'll do something card related, but there's flexibility there. And even if you do something, we are in like the Shin Lim era where as long as you're just like really, really good at what you do, you can stand at a table and you can win a lot of money and just roll around in it forever.
I just love, and I'm sure everyone's saying this too, that there is a female magician and that she is on this show, and we're getting a chance to see that because it is really rare.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, even seeing her tonight, that's something I would never be able to do, but she makes me want to go out and pull out my cards. Be like, I can do this too. This would be awesome to do something like this. I would like to be a female magician, but no, I would never be able to. But man, is she great.
Yeah, anytime you watch someone... She's
inspiring.
Yeah, it makes you want to go and do it. I think that's one of the best things about this show and this franchise, and I think she just encapsulates all of that, especially, so much hardship. She's here, and I think that's really... The story, you have a lot of people who've sort of risen above a lot of things in this episode. We've talked about Junior Creative.
Like Junior Creative, that should be going through.
Like,
that is not the last time I will say that.
No, like Dania, like, Subway singer Mike Young. Like, there's a lot of just those stories within this episode. I want to talk about a couple of acts together because we're moving now into the portion of people who were not really up for deliberation and aren't going through anyway. But I think it's fun to kind of talk like Eddie Williams and Patty and Nico in kind of the same sentence because from what I understand, I did not see Eddie's first audition, but this was basically identical to his first audition the first time where I think it's all based on the element of surprise. Like,
absolutely. So that's why, like, I was wondering if he goes through, what is he going to do next?
Yeah.
Because there is no, I'm going to lift this heavy thing and now I'm going to go in and be real soft. We already know that. So what else is there to the act?
Yeah, and it's fun watching it once. Like, I went into it not knowing what it was going to be, and it was really, I enjoyed it a lot, and it made me smile. Though, AGT, you guys got to get your video titles together with this because it was like, Strongman sings John. Okay, you have told me now that what the surprise is before I've watched the video.
Oh, I agree.
But, but it was, I think it's fun for what it is. Patty and Nico, I think there are bigger Patty and Nico fans out there than me. And this is where I turn into the cranky person. Like, Howie was so cranky on people tonight. It's just, I think it's a really inspiring act. Like, I could not do this now, and she's 85.
I think what she's doing at 85 is something that even younger dancers aren't able to do. There were some lifts and things that she was doing that was I can't even believe anybody is doing them. I think it was almost what they said where it was Nico that was kind of dropping the ball a little bit and not keeping up with what she was doing.
I think
if that makes any sense. There was something that felt a little bit off about it, but it wasn't Patty.
It just felt to me like, and I think probably it's just, I've seen this act a couple of times now, so I've had the element of surprise out of me. I just felt to me like rather than watching a full routine, it was just sort of like, okay, look at this lift, now look at this lift. And it was just like a series of lifts rather than a dance routine. And I've seen them better, but I'm still happy that they're there. Like, I mean, it's still, I cannot do any of this now.
No, it was really fun to watch them.
It's always fun to watch them. So we mentioned Mike Young. How we did not like I liked Mike Young's song.
I liked it, and then Angelina came on, and it was just, and I hate saying this because I really like Jack as well, but it was, once Angelina showed up, it just overshadowed all the other singers of the night. It was something I'd never heard before, so it was really hard then when I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and think about Mike's song, and I was just like, with the comparison of the songs tonight, it's hard.
I think the thing is with me, like, Angelina was easily the better singer. Like, there's no debating this. I think I actually kind of thought Mike's song was a little bit catchy. Like, I listened to a part of it a couple of times. I was like, I kind of wish there was a full studio version. I could get down with Wanting to Believe or whatever it was he was singing up there.
I just like Mike.
Yeah, it's just...
Like, that's the thing about Mike.
Yeah.
I like his voice, but to me, it doesn't matter what Mike is going to come up there and do. He can come up and read the phone book. I'm like, yeah, Mike. I don't know what it is.
Just
it's just something
charismatic.
about he's really charismatic. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever you want to do, Mike. I'm going to pay and come and watch you do it.
Yeah, it's just, come on, Mike. I believe in you. You should have also gone through Oberhans. But, here we are with the results of this show.
I was actually worried because he was up against Dania.
Yeah.
And I was like, I may be losing my magician here.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried.
Yeah, but, I think Dania was the right choice, but I still liked Mike's song. I don't listen to Howie by hating on your song. But, the other person, Dan Natterman, and this is tough, because I think it's really hard to be a magician. I mean, not a comedian. It's also hard to be a magician, but...
Yeah. No, it's hard to be a comedian,
yeah.
but,
It's tough.
It's tough, but I'm not... I just don't find him funny. I'm sorry, Dan.
Well...
It just is what it is for me. My humor's really, I don't know.
See...
Humor's so subjective. It's just hard. Like, some things... Like Dan, I might not find as funny, but then someone who's maybe a little more biting, like Sarah Silverman, I'm going to find that funny. I find you funny.
And I'm not a comedian.
And you're not a comedian, but your puns make me laugh all the time. So it's kind of, for me, what I'm in the mood for. Like, I may have seen Dan tomorrow and been like, this guy's the funniest guy I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's also just environment and audience, because I think Dan is kind of like a quintessential comedian who can go on a comedy club and do a 10-minute set that's really good in that environment. And I think he is pretty funny. I've seen some of his stuff here, there, elsewhere. But I think it's just like, if you're going to be a great comedian in AGT, you either have to have such a very specific angle, a really big character, or someone who's easily memorable. And I just think he does it. He's just kind of himself. Just kind of a guy.
Well, the other thing that was a bit difficult about it was that there was already a little bit of tension with the judges that was going on. And so it made it, for me, even going into the act, it was already like, these two aren't on the greatest terms, and now there's dissension going on in here, and everybody's not that happy. So now I'm like, okay, let's get into this funny act.
Yeah.
They kind of suck the funny out of him, if that makes sense for that.
Yeah, comedy is it's really hard. It's the right environment. Dan, the moment he performed, I knew he didn't really have a chance, and that just happens sometimes, I think, on Champions. But that is our take on the first episode. We will see if the judges get it more correct moving forward, or if there's a wild card, or if someone can just save Junior Creative somehow.
Come on, wild card, bring back Junior Creative. Come on.
Well, what did you guys think about America's Got Talent, the Champions, the great robbery of this episode, and who did you like the most? Share in the comments, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us more by checking out the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.